Well, so this is my Ford F-150 that you guys saw on my channel. I put the cab corners and I did some rust repair on it. So it's got almost 200,000 miles on it. Been having some issues with the cam phasers and also the timing chain tensioners. And as with this, it's going to need some work, and it's going to be about $1,000 in parts, and really just don't want to do that. So what I've got here in the garage is something that I picked up today, and I'll come in here and show you guys. This is my new collection. I picked this up today in Missouri. Drove over and picked this up from a guy that the information that he has was basically a gentleman had bought it, and there's my son's 4BT in his truck in the background, just fired up. Got it going on over there. But anyhow, the information that this guy has is that I bought this engine as a non-runner. Okay, it's supposed to be a good engine. I don't know. The guy that he bought it from apparently had bought a bread truck down in Memphis and drove it home, took the engine out, and he never got around to his project. So there's two guys that's had this engine to put in projects, and now I have it. And hopefully I'm going to break that chain of a no-go on projects and actually make this happen. So I'm just going to go over a few little things for everybody to kind of look at when they go look at an engine to buy, whether or not it might be something good, bad, or you better just go ahead and go look for another one. Okay, so number one, you're going to take a chance when you can't start an engine. As you can see, the adapter plate is gone, no flywheel or flex plate is on it, so that's a big problem when you're trying to start it. Okay, so I'm just going to walk around, kind of give you some idea of what to look for, what not to look for, and maybe price. Okay, so number one, when you look at an engine that doesn't have anything on there, you just want to kind of glance at it. You're looking for any cracks, you're looking for any major leaks that's on it, and also just a telltale sign that there could be something wrong with this. Okay, so number one, hopefully it's got engine oil in it. You want to make sure it does have engine oil in it. And there goes my son. So number one is like I said, check the oil if you can. All right, number one, what are you looking for? Well, you're looking for, number one, does it have brand new fresh oil in it, or does it look used oil? Okay, sometimes people can drain the oil out and put fresh oil in to get rid of some contaminants, i.e. could be some antifreeze, could be some metal particles or such. Okay, on the drain pan on the two 4BTs that I have worked on is your nice drain plug. Okay, on the end of that's a magnet, very, very important. I pulled this out of the back of the truck, lifted it up, still not knowing what I'm going to find. Took the drain plug out, it had nothing but straight oil in it, which is a good sign, no water in there. And if you're just buying the engine, if the engine's in the upright position, if you drain or open the drain plug just a little bit, any antifreeze or water is going to be sitting at the bottom. Okay, and then your oil will float on top of that. So that's something that you could just turn this a little bit, maybe get just a little bit of the bottom to sample. And if it is nothing but oil, that means there's no water, antifreeze inside your engine. That's a good thing. Number two, look at your magnet. You're looking for chunks of metal. You're looking for a lot of debris. You're looking for a lot of thick sludge, contaminant actually stuck to that magnet. If that magnet is clear or just has a little bit on there, a little bit is normal. That's your normal wear going on, and your magnet's doing its job at collecting that. But you don't want a lot of matter on there. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, number one, the turbo. This thing has got, I think this thing is the H1C turbo. I hadn't even looked at it. I guess I'll look at it now. It says something on there. Man, I can't even. Yes, HC. Yep, that's what it is. HC1. This is a little bitty old turbo, man. This thing is tiny compared to that what is that, HX30W that we've got on my son's. Little bitty housing. This thing is, I guess it works for the Cummins 4BT, and I'm sure the engineers wouldn't have put it on here if it didn't work. But we are going to be upgrading that as well. Look at the oil filter. It's fairly decent. It's good. Looks like it's been changed somewhat recently. And also look on this side. You're looking for cracks in the block. You're looking at your freeze plugs for any pushed out freeze plugs. You're looking for any hairline cracks in your block. Also, in the front of the motor, you're also looking at your timing cover here. I'm looking for anything that looks abnormal. It did have a little bit of oil in here and here. Nothing major. You're looking for the crankshaft seal if it's wore out. Okay. You're looking all the way around the head itself, where the head goes onto the block. Okay. You're looking for any type of oil residue. You're looking for any type of fluid if it's still hooked up to the cooling system. Okay. You're looking for any type of seepage around the head itself, just to give you a little bit of telltale sign that there could be something wrong. Okay. Now, this here's got the plug on the front cover. It does have the oil fill on top of this one, which I do like anyway. My son's does not. His has got the oil fill cover or oil fill at this location. Okay. Now, something to also look at is the injection pump. All right. What are you looking for? Well, you're looking for if somebody has tampered with this injector pump. It's a VE pump. Okay. Very important, but something that to see is this right here. See how this has been taped over and the pump has been sprayed. Okay. And I don't know if you guys can see that. 650, 850. I am assuming that was the cost of a rebuild right there. $650.50 to rebuild that pump. Now, that's a pretty big plus, okay? That means this pump has been gone through, okay? Now, the guy that bought it from said the history on this engine is that it was rebuilt when the guy pulled it out of the bread van. It was a new, or partially new rebuild. Apparently had 40,000 miles on it. So I don't have anything to prove that. The guy that I bought it from didn't have anything to prove that except just word of mouth, okay? On the injector pump itself, right here at the top, smoke screw, that little cap right there has been removed, okay? That means something's been tweaked on this pump, most likely. My son's pump and engine that we bought, that little seal that goes in there was original. And also the power screw right here, the cover's missing. Okay, but what do I see on there? When I first looked at that, it was kind of dark. I couldn't really see it all that well. I saw that the cover that goes over this is missing, but guess what's still on there? That locking collar is still on there. That's a good sign. That means that the power screw has not been messed with. You have to actually take a little chisel and chisel that off right there so that you can loosen up that lock nut to make some adjustments on your power screw. So that's a big plus. That means nothing's been really tampered with on this. And if it was rebuilt, they probably just didn't put that cover back on, or it just came off, but that they actually reinstalled that little piece right there that goes on there on the threads. Okay, so that's a plus. All right, fuel filter. Look at there. What's that? As you can see, the pump shaft isn't moving, but it's been broke right there. Okay, so all that means is nothing. It just means that you can't actually manually pump that to flow with fuel. Okay, so I'm going to be getting another one of those. Now, something to look at is this cover right here. See this gasket right here? When we bought my son's, it was all cracked. All right, all the way through there, had some leakage and such. This here looks fairly new. It's still very flexible. So if that's the case, then hey, that 40,000 mile rebuild that was done on this, it could have been a really good sign. Or when they rebuilt the pump, they say, hey, we rebuilt the pump, we'll go ahead and change out that tappet cover. Okay, so that's could be the case. It may not be. Okay, now as you can see, the cover plates on here, this does not have the power steering pump that came with mine. with Ethan's, I should say, my son's. So that is not on here, but I have an extra one. I'll be putting most likely that GM power steering pump on there anyway to run my Hydro Boost, okay? This here has got the fill on the side of the block. Now, I have to make my motor mounts off of this here, okay, these 4 bolts. So I'm going to have to do away with this. I'm going to put a freeze plug in where this goes, and then that way I'll build my motor mounts for the Ford F-150, the 2004 Ford F-150 that I'm building, okay? This right here, this port on my son's has got a plug in it. This one here feeds the vacuum pump, okay? So what is kind of cool is I may or may not use that. And if I do use it, then I won't have to run a Hydro Boost, okay, up to my brakes. And then also to my 4-wheel drive. The Ford F-150 has got a vacuum tubes that run up to the front hubs to actually engage the 4-wheel drive. Okay, the transfer case is locked in, the drive shafts turn in from the transfer case up to the front differential, but then the wheels will not lock in without a vacuum. So I am going to need some type of vacuum. So I might keep this on there. It looks pretty ugly though. Or I might just go with the, I think the Ford F-250s have the vacuum pump on there, electric 12-volt vacuum pump. I may do that. Okay. This here's the drain. I'm going to be doing away with this here. The drain to this, if I don't use this, it just takes up a lot of room. It just looks kind of ugly, in my personal opinion. Okay. So this will be plugged. This is the oil sending unit. I'll be using the Ford's oil sending unit. A little bit different design here on this pump. The KFC, I think that's what it is. It doesn't have the cold start feature. Okay, so not really a big deal on that. The tag. Okay, make sure you look at your tag. All right, when you buy an engine. Number one, no matter what it says, make sure it has a 4BT. Right there, if you can see that, 4BT. Some guys say, yeah, this is a 4BT, and yeah, it's got a turbo on it, and yeah, it's good to go. It might be a 4B block that someone put a turbo on it, okay? It's very important. It has to have a 4BT because those pistons in here have to have oil squirters that keep them pistons cool when you're running a turbo. The 4B block does not have those squirters, okay? And if you put a turbo on a 4B block, you're going to be running into a major problem. So make sure you see that 4BT. That's what you're looking for, okay? The CPL on this is a 767, okay? The year model is a 1987 model, okay? So look at your oil pan, okay, along with your block, looking for any cracks, punctures, holes, big seeps. Look in your oil pan. You're looking for any type of a dent that comes outward, okay? A dent that comes outward, that means that there's something inside that hit it from the inside and pushed it out like a rod, okay? You don't want that, okay? Very important. So you're glancing at that. All the diesel's going to have some oil leaks. That's part of it. It's no big deal. This here has a different oil filter housing. My son's comes out vertically. This here has a horizontal, and